Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Mackenzie, and today we are finally unlocking Peter Pan from Skull Rock. It's been a little over 2 years. I haven't been keeping track or anything. But I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer, so let's get right into it. When you log on, you should get a quest from the Forgotten. If the quest does not appear when you log on, try running around for 15 to 20 minutes and see if that helps. If that doesn't help, restart your game and it should pop up. Once you talk to the Forgotten, or as I named them, Evil Me, and the game has named them Onyx, they're going to ask you to talk to them outside of Skull Rock. Once you do so, you will unlock them as an official villager. Next, you're going to talk to Onyx to start the Shadows on the Wall quest. Then you're going to meet them inside of Skull Rock. Once inside, you're going to talk to Onyx and then meet them at the top of Skull Rock. Once you talk to Onyx, they're going to tell you that the lanterns are broken, so you need to search around the realm to find resources to dig up. They kind of look like buried treasure. And then the final two pieces are the lanterns at the bottom. You have to fish them out of the water by Captain Hook's ship. Before we return to Onyx, the last thing we have to collect are the 3 pixie dust orbs back in our original valley. I found one in the glade by Mother Gothel's house, one in the forest by the bridge, and one in the Forgotten Lands by the back pond. Once we've collected everything, we're going to craft 3 pixie dust lanterns and then head back to Skull Rock. We're going to place 1 pixie dust lantern on top of each of these 3 rope winches. Once you've placed all the pixie lanterns on top of the rope winches, you're going to turn the second one until you spot the shadow. Once you find the shadow, you're going to point all 3 rope winches to the same spot on this back wall. Then we're going to talk to the shadow, and he's going to ask us to turn the first rope winch towards the gate so he can lead the way. Next, we're going to talk to the Jade Skulls, and they're going to ask us 3 riddles. The answers to the riddles are a pirate ship, a pixie, and a pan flute. Once you answer all 3 riddles correctly, turn the lever to start a Ship of Gold quest. Next, we're going to follow the Shadow and Onyx to the top and talk to Onyx once we get there. Then we're going to clear the cliff to the left, picking up our first pile of pixie dust. Next, we're headed to the bottom near Captain Hook's ship. Once there, we're collecting our second pile of pixie dust and then placing the rope winch back on the wall where it belongs. You're going to turn the rope winch and then head through the tunnel following the pixie orb. In the tunnel, there are 4 more piles of pixie dust to collect. It is kind of a long walk, so we're going to speed through this a little bit. Once you've collected everything, you're going to use the pixie dust on Hook's ship and then head to the top and cross the ship. Once you cross the ship, we're going to talk to Onyx, and then we're going to rotate the barrels until they point at their match. Hook should point at the clock, Pan should point at the needle, and the pixie should point at the bell. Once everything's correctly pointed at its match, the key to the captain's cabin should appear. Head to the cabin and use the key to open the door. Once inside, pick up the rope winch and head back by Onyx and place the final rope winch on the wall. Open the gate to finish this quest. Walking through the gate will start the next quest and then head to the top. Once there, talk to Onyx and they're going to have you hunt down a few music notes. But before you do this, pick up the key on the ground next to Onyx. The first one is roaming around Skull Rock. Once you catch it, a memory orb will appear showing you an image where you can find each music note. Before searching for the notes, we're going to head to the captain's cabin and use the key to open the chest. The map that appears shows you where you can find buried treasure. We're going to look for the treasure after we find all the music notes. The second note you can get from the Jade Rocks. They're going to ask you a riddle and the answer to the riddle is pixie dust, of course. The third note you can find in Ursula's cave on Dazzle Beach. You're going to fish it out of the water and then we're headed to find note number 4. Note number 4 you can find in Olaf's cave in the Frosted Heights. You're going to break the ice with your pickaxe until you break free the music note. Note number 5 you can find in the Dreamlight Castle roaming around. Once you catch it, we're headed to find the final note. The final note you can find in the Tree Fort in the Forgotten Lands roaming around. Once you find the final note in the Dreamscape, we're going to search for the buried treasure. To find the buried treasure, you're going to head to Ariel's Island. Once you get there, head to the left and use your shovel to dig up the treasure. Once you've grabbed Pan's flute, we're headed back to Skull Rock and headed all the way to the top. Then you're going to tell Onyx everything you've collected and they're going to have you place everything on the music stand. Once you place everything, you're going to match the large notes to the ones on the stand. When all the notes match, you're going to interact with Pan's flute, but sadly this upsets his shadow and he messes all the work we just did. So we're going to talk to Onyx and then head to the nearest crafting table to craft a pixie dust lantern. Then we're headed all the way back to the top again to place the lantern on top of the broken rope winch. Then you're going to fix the music notes to match the ones on the stand again, and we're going to interact with Pan's flute again to finally meet Pan. We're going to talk to Pan and then to Onyx. Pan wants to play hide and seek, so he's hiding somewhere in our valley and we have to find him. The piles of pixie dust will help you follow his trail, but they're not required. You can find Pan in Onyx's dark castle. Once you find Pan, talk to him and then head back to your valley to place his home. Once you place his home, you finally get to welcome him to the valley. Then you're going to talk to Onyx and to Pan to complete this quest. To start Pan's first friendship quest, we're going to talk to him and then we're going to head to talk to Minnie. Minnie's going to have us head inside her house to search for Pan's shadow. You're going to check her lamp and then talk to Pan. Next, head to the nearest crafting station to craft 4 shadow spotlights, and then you're going to talk to Sally. Sally's going to give you the shadow thread, and then she's going to send you to Belle and Beast's castle. Give Pan the shadow thread, and then place all 4 of the spotlights in the castle. Finally, listen to Kristoff and Pan, then talk to Pan to finish this quest. To start this quest, talk to Pan and then cook a 5-star entree and give it to Pan. This entree is not good enough for Pan, sadly, so we're going to talk to Sully and to Remy to get some ideas. We're going to try to cook 2 more meals for Pan. We're going to make French fries and a peanut butter sandwich. Once you make those meals, we're going to try to give them to Pan, and this time he loves them. So next we're headed to Pan's house. Once inside, we're cleaning up the trash, and then we're talking to Pan to give him the swing we found. Doing this spawns a memory orb, so we're going to open it and then talk to Pan about what we saw. We're going to search outside of Ursula's cave for the lamp, outside of Mother Gothel's house for the bag of treasures, and finally search outside of the tree house for the telescope. Once we've found all 3 items, we're going to return to Pan's house and place all 3 items inside, and then we're going to talk to Pan to finish this quest. Just like any other quest, we're going to start it by talking to Pan, and he's going to ask us to make 3 apple pies, 3 meringue pies, and 3 whimsical pies. We're going to give Pan the desserts, and then he's going to send us to check out Fairy Godmother's house. Once inside, we're going to talk to her, and then we're headed to Donald Duck's house. Once inside, you're going to listen to Pan and Donald talk. Once I walked in at first, it didn't work. It kind of glitched and nothing happened. So if that happens, just walk in and out again or restart your game. Once Donald and Pan are done talking, you're going to talk to Pan, and then you're going to use your watering can to clean up the mess that Pan left inside of Donald's house. Next, we're headed to the Dreamlight library, which is Merlin's house, to do the same thing. We're using our watering cans to clean up the mess that Pan left. And lastly, we're going to do the same thing to Scar's lair, and then we're going to talk to Pan about the mess he keeps making inside of everybody's houses. Next, we're going to craft 5 Lost Boy audition signs and place them in our valley. Once all 5 signs are placed, we're headed to Pan's house to talk to him and everyone auditioning to be a Lost Boy. Then finally, we're going to talk to Pan to finish this quest. Just like any other quest, we're going to talk to Pan to start his final level 10 friendship quest, and he's going to ask us to put on a top hat and then talk to him to show him your hat. Next, we're headed to Olaf's cave to clear the path for Prince Eric and to talk to him. We need to collect 5 minerals and 10 gold nuggets. Once you've gathered everything, head to the dreamscape to give everything to Pan. Next, we're headed to Skull Rock to talk to Ariel, and then we're headed through Skull Rock, trying to not get caught by the lanterns or the Lost Boys. Once you make it to the top, talk to Pan, and then make your way to Onyx. Once you defeat Onyx in your verbal battle, use the key to unlock the chest and open the treasure bag. Finally, head back to your valley and place the treasure bag. Then talk to Pan to complete his final level 10 friendship quest. Alright, that's all I have for you today. Sadly, there are no friendship quests for leveling up the Forgotten, but there is a new code for some free items. Other than that, I will see you all next time for the Troves of Treasure event. Bye!